What's up, college football fans and Mean Green fans? Sonoy Valente here once again with a Mean Green Show. Today, joined by Miles, and we're going to jump into a little bit of the recruiting state of North Texas and the finalizing of all the coaching hires, and just kind of give our perspective of where we think things are at as of now. But before we get into all that, guys, you already know the drill. If you're a fan of college football or G5 football, consider hitting that like and subscribe button because that is truly all that we talk about. Also, kind of real quick, other news. We're trying to get JD on, but he's recently had a daughter, and him and his wife, and his daughter's name is Amelia. They've got their hands full. So, just thinking of JD and Amelia while we're doing this. But hopefully, we'll get him on soon too. But all right, Miles. Well, thank you for jumping on. I know things have been kind of busy and kind of not busy all at the same time, but. What are your thoughts so far of just kind of the things that have transpired or maybe not have transpired as of late?
I mean, I think we got the right guy in a recruiting standpoint. I think we have the right guys to succeed, but it's already we were already got on. And it's been talked about. We got on so late.
Mm-hmm.
We were already behind, and then when you change staff with the limited amount of commits we had, we have two people who signed a letter of three, if you count, what's his name? The one that committed the other day. That's three if you count him. And then we have two hard commits. Really one now because Dylan Brown Turner is, I don't know if he's going to come back or not. I don't know. But we have the right stuff in staff in place for next year. That's for sure. And they're already handing out a lot of offers. It's just coming to a point, the transfer portals allowing players to come visit schools. That's very big. It's getting a chance to show off the facilities. We have the resources. We have the facilities. We have a little bit of the winning prestige the past few years to be able to convince some guys, I would say. But it's still. It's slow, but it's better than last year. I don't know if we remember last year, this time of year, there was nothing happening this time last year. So at least there's a little bit going on. They're offering guys like Larry Moore from Texas Tech. I think he was a pretty good 3-star. Just a lot of these guys that are, I would say they're in our backyard. We have the coaches that have the connections with those high schools that they were at. It's kind of hard because I want them to have I want a lot of things to be happening at once, but I just know I can't hype these expectations up right now because I know nothing's going to really happen, and it's a process, and that process is still very much early stages in the works.
Yeah, and I think we've kind of been saying it for a while now, but yeah, I think the staff is great, and it's going to be a really, really good staff when it comes to recruiting. It's just unfortunately timing of hirings and everything. They were put in a pretty tough spot to really be super effective this signing class, I think. However, I do think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that hopefully will surface up, at least by National Signing Day. But we'll see. But yeah, kind of touch a little bit more specifically on some of the recruits that we're seeing action about via Twitter and stuff like that. Is, like you said, Larry Moore, the Texas Tech offensive tackle transfer, Bula Schmidt, the center from Fresno State. And it seems like they're going, and there's another one from Broken Arrow, a high school kid. I can't remember his name right now, but
yeah, I was looking for him right when you were talking.
Yeah, and then they offered another Perez, I believe, out of All Saints, but he's in the transfer portal. And so it seems like they're really going after a lot of offensive linemen, which a lot of losing some guys, and definitely understand the sense of need to go just add to that room. But another recruit that is probably one of the most, I guess, exciting for recruiting people is Javen Anderson, who's out of North Shore as a safety. The 24/7 composite has him ranked at a .88. So, he's ranked pretty high, and his film is pretty impressive. And they're still crystal balling him to go to Houston, but we'll see. If this staff can if their reach can go down to Houston, I know this is a pretty big Metroplex staff with the heavy hitters, but if that can extend down to Houston, we could somehow win a recruiting battle with Javen, that'd be great. To just kind of give some.
They also offered Evan Jackson, his teammate. He's a DB at North Shore, so it seems like they're trying to get that North Shore pipeline. Which honestly, if you look at it, you look at Upton Stout. Remember Upton Stout? I mean, he was a great. He's still a good player. So if they can continue to hit that lower Houston area, I mean, lower Houston, East Texas, and then of course DFW. That's just the three main pipelines right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, we kind of speculate that it's going to be really hard to hang on to Dylan Brown Turner, especially with his Florida State offer. But as of now, he's still verbally committed. So if the coaches could keep that, the new staff could keep his commitment, I think that would be a win in recruiting that should not be, overlooked. But yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to keep him in the boat, I think. Some unfortunate news. I mean, we're not ranked very good right now in the recruiting rankings. A composite at 128 and lower tier of Conference USA. And again, a lot of that stems from the timing of these hires and stuff. But nevertheless, I mean, the human side of us wants to see some action, and climb those ranks and at least get together a decent class for this signing period and whatnot. But, what are your thoughts, Miles? Do you think how many people do you think we might get signed on National Signing Day? And do you think they're going to go heavy portal?
Well, I mean, I the other guy I was thinking of, Damon Youngblood from safety from Louisiana. That's not Louisiana Lafayette, whatever you want to call him. But I forgot about him. He's at safety. I think he's gonna be pretty good. That was their only D1 transfer so far. But I mean, you look at the new staff when Latrell came in 2016, they came off of a terrible season, but they added some of the staples of North Texas football the past 10 years and Mason Fine, Rico Bussey, who else was it? Nate Brooks, all these guys, they added the staples of the program for a long period of time in that signing class. So if they can just, I mean, I know they're going to get to that level, but if they can just get someone that they have evaluated, and maybe it might be a little bit later than National Signing Day, but it's just, I feel like if you can get the quality over quantity at this rate, because if we can get guys like those guys from the 2016 team who are hardworking, they got in there and clearly dominated their first few years, that would be a bigger win than getting more people who end up entering the portal no matter what. And the best thing, I was listening to Coach Morris talk to, I forgot which interview it was. He does a lot of that now. He was talking about how he wants more quality and getting to know those recruits more than having just recruits come in and commit and then they enter the portal. Because we've seen that years and years and years under Latrell. It was a lot of guys would just come in here, not play, or they wouldn't like the coaching staff or whatever, and enter the portal. But I mean, this class, I mean, I'm not expecting a whole lot, but at the same time, it's going to be a step up. It's going to be a building block for the next year, not a step up because it's not going to be a step up at all. It's going to be a building block for the next few years, I think, because it will kind of show how they can evaluate. And if these guys do pan out, it's a big success from the staff. If they don't, we'll see. But I would hope we go more portal heavy at this rate. I think you get more portal guys in here who already have the experience, and then the next year you go after more high school kids. Because you have more time to evaluate those high school kids. You had zero time. High school football was over when they fired Latrell. So it's more next year. I think we see more high school kids, but this year you got to get some guys with experience coming in here. Mainly with all the losses we've had, like Ani, like Katie Davis, like Mose, all those guys on the offensive line, especially. So hopefully they hit the right positions. They don't need a running back. I'm going to tell you right now, they don't need a running back. But if we can just keep on getting those guys from the portal at this year, I think we'll be good. Because those recruiters on this coaching staff are high school made, and they're going to go get high school kids next year. I can tell you that now. But right now, I think we're going to see a lot of portal kids, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and we'll see. It'll be interesting. One thing, another positive note is at this point, right, we still haven't seen that mass exodus in the portal. I mean, yeah, of course, a few guys have jumped in, but It hasn't been by the masses, so I don't know if it's still coming. I mean, I imagine some will jump in, but again, when Latrell and his staff left, I was thinking we were going to lose a lot more than we have at this point. I mean, just to put it that way, and
That's
that
also
hasn't
a
happened yet.
big hand clap to the coaching staff, especially Morris, for getting those. I mean, and now you do have guys like Coach Cobbs and Coach Jennings, who was the deep or safeties defensive back coach 2 years ago. So there is a little bit of connection with those defensive backs who I thought we were going to lose, like a Gaddy or someone like that. I thought we were going to lose. So that's a big positive that they got a lot of those guys coming back. I agree.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Miles, anything else we need to touch on before we jump off here?
I hope KD has a great recovery. That sucks to see. I hate seeing that because I know he was going to be at least a free agent pickup after the draft. At least it's hard to that's really hard to see. One of our best players in the past 5 years.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Really, don't like seeing that. Hoping nothing but the best for KD moving forward and a quick recovery. He can find his way back to the football field really, really soon. But all right, Miles. Well, thank you so much for jumping on. And as always, go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green.